Effective note-taking strategies. First, we will focus on some useful strategies that will enable you to take better notes. Why am I giving you note-taking tips? What are some key benefits of note-taking? In my many years of experience, very few students go to class and do not take notes. Actually, it's usually the opposite. Many students go to class and take a copious amount of notes. Then, after class, they try to decipher their notes, meaning they try to make heads or tails of them. Taking better notes will help you to focus and better understand main concepts. It will also aid in developing your active listening skills. Listening carefully and deciding what to include in your notes keeps your mind actively involved with what you hear. Taking better notes makes studying and understanding easier after class. Such organized notes also make it easier for you to link classroom learning to textbook readings. Having a set of concise, well-organized notes from each class session gives you what you need for studying. If at all possible, and if and only if, you have permission from the instructor, record or tape your lectures. This provides a good reference when reviewing your notes. Also, it will aid in filling in any gaps in your notes. Now, how do you take better notes? There are several note-taking strategies, but one that I find quite effective is called the Cornell method. This method was devised in the 1940s by Walter Pauck, an education professor at Cornell University. The Cornell method requires some preparation before the lecture begins. Step 1. Always enter the date and topic of each lecture on the first page. Step 2. Divide each page according to this diagram if you are using the standard 8.5 by 11-inch notebook. If your notebook has different dimensions, you might have to customize each area to have adequate space for each subdivision. Step 3. The area in which you'll be taking notes while in class will be called the note-taking area. This method uses the 5 R's of note-taking: record, reduce, recite, reflect, review. Number 1. Record. During the lecture, you will record your notes in the note-taking area. Record as much meaningful notes as possible without being verbatim. If you're allowed to tape the lecture as was mentioned before, do so. If the lecture is a math class, copy all examples as well as any procedures. Number 2. Reduce. Immediately after the lecture, or as soon as possible, summarize important facts in the Q column. Then summarize the lecture in your own words in the summaries area. Summarizing helps you to find the main points, key details, key questions, and reinforce the memory. Write out all the steps to solving the problems. You should also write potential test questions. Number 3. Recite. Cover the note-taking area, then verbalize the facts you wrote in the Q column. Repeat them several times, each time verifying what you have said. Number 4. Reflect. After you've completed the Q column and the summary, quiz yourself. Make a note of concepts, facts, and any details you had difficulty recalling. If you recorded the lecture, this is a good time to refer to it to fill in any gaps. Number 5. Review. Review your notes and test yourself as much as possible until you have a firm understanding of the lecture. Review constantly. This helps in retaining of information. Don't cram. Cramming is not studying. It is trying to stuff a lot of information into your short-term memory. Information in short-term memory only remains there very briefly. Taking effective notes is one of the best ways to ensure you not only have a record of what you've learned in class to review later, but it is also a great way to cement the information into your long-term memory.